everyone, and welcome back to another mini masterpiece video where I take a look at a famous painter from the past or the present and take a look at their work and try and make my own little mini masterpiece. So today I'm using these Derwent Lightfast pencils that I got in a scrawler box. They have like a bit of a strange colour combo, lots of tans, some yellow and one random blue. But I haven't used them for a while, so I thought they might be quite nice in this little spread. And today I'm going to be looking at Berthe Morisot from France. She was a French impressionist painter back in the day. And before I get into her, I'll just mention that Jana from Jubilee Art is jumping in on the mini masterpiece fun, and she's making her own little mini canvases over on her channel. So I'll pop the link below in the description if you want to check her out. So I'm just doing this little spread like I do for every one of these videos, do a little portrait of Berthe there. So I never really heard of her really, but I thought we needed to look at some women for this series. We don't just want it to be a sausage fest. And it turns out that at one point, Berthe Morisot was bigger than Monet, Renoir and Picasso. She was one of the founding members of the French Impressionists, and her work was shown in the prestigious Impressionists exhibition 7 times, and she was even the only female invited at a couple of them. So despite being an acknowledged leader among the Impressionists, her work was often overlooked and undervalued for more than a century, and only now are her paintings recognised as some of the most pivotal in modern art. Her subject matters focused on domestic activities, motherhood and children, and were regarded as mere expression of her gender, but as a woman who was also a professional painter at the time, her subject matter was limited. So her peers at the time, Monet, Renoir, they were frolicking around Paris painting popular sites of leisure, but as an upstanding socialite and a woman, Morisot couldn't frequent these areas without a male chaperone, particularly the seedier aspects of urban life like cabarets, cafes, bars and brothels. So she turned to capturing women and children in domestic interiors, ladies in parks, and in nearly a third of her canvases, her daughter Julie. So for my spread, I'm choosing to copy a few of her different paintings. The top one is young girl braiding her hair, the cheval glace, and at the bottom here is woman at her toilette, which I think is probably one of her most famous pieces. And then always gotta include a quote, real painters understand with a brush in their hands, which made me think, guess I'm not a real painter because I don't understand anything with a brush in my hands, or out of my hands to be fair. And that's the little spread finished there. And now we're going to be moving on to the painting. So for this little mini canvas, I'm using my gouache paints today. I actually found quite a few colours that I think work well with the original painting that I chose. So I'm painting her daughter Julie here. So while I was researching her work, I fell in love with a lot of her paintings. I especially love the simpler scenes of women brushing their hair or getting ready in front of a mirror, like something that captures the life of those times. But this painting of her daughter Julie really jumped out at me. Something to do with that expression, I guess, and the contrast between the dark background and the light foreground. I just thought it was really beautiful. So Morisot was born in France in 1841 to an affluent family. She and her 2 sisters started taking art lessons so they could make a drawing for their father for his birthday. Turned into a hell of a lot more. So in 1857, their art teacher introduced them to the Louvre, where they started copying paintings. And she even became a copyist for the Louvre as a job later on. At the museum, she also met Manet and Monet, who were obviously a massive influence to her work. Morisot also had the good fortune to not only marry into an artistic family, but also have the support of her husband, who was Manet, the famous Manet's younger brother. He sacrificed his own ambition in order to manage her artistic career, and her talents and skill won the public and the respect of her male colleagues as their equal, an achievement that was very uncommon for the times. But I think being female in a male-dominated field got to her. In her notebook, she once said, "I do not think any man would ever treat a woman as his equal, and it is all I ask because I know my worth." While she had the acclaim of the Impressionists, when she died in 1895 from pneumonia, her death certificate listed her without a profession. When she died, her work was still developing, and her reputation declined sharply since her death. While Manet, Monet, Renoir and Degas continued to hold reputations over the 20th century, Morisot's work tended to be written off by critics as that of a minor lady painter. But Morisot was no minor. Her contributions to art history are slowly re-emerging, returning us to a Berthe Morisot whose art is as radical and shocking as it is beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed that really quick look at Morisot and this little painting. Check her out online, her work is stunning and I definitely didn't do it justice here. That was this month's mini masterpiece and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, bye!